Welcome back to March or Die. I am the Stressmaster. Thank you all for joining me. I really do appreciate it. Thank you guys for all your support on my previous videos. If you've missed any of the previous episodes in this drill writing series, please go back and watch those first. They're going to be up there in the corner. That way you can go back and watch episode 1 and 2. This is our third episode in the series where we're going to be talking about setting up Pyware. In the previous episodes, we talked about how to block out your score. That's really, really important. Also some introduction items that we talked about, what we're going to be covering in the series, and then also how to add them to your count sheet. So what we're going to be talking about today is how to set up your 3D file, how to import your counts that we created in the previous episode into Pyware. Also the music. We're going to add some click tracks to the music, and then we're going to learn how to synchronize the music to the page tabs. So we're going to be verifying the tabs matches the phrases, adjust counts if needed on the timeline. So that's going to be a lot to cover in this episode, but we're going to go ahead and get started with that. Now, before you can even get started, you need to have Pyware. So if you do not have Pyware, you can go to pyware.com. I'm going to put this in the description of the video as well. But currently there's 3 different versions. There's the basic, the professional, and the lab. I'm not sure what the difference is. I tried to kind of look. I'm assuming it's just the different. I know the basic, you get less features than the professional. But then the lab must be if you have more than 3 computers. It's for 6 computers there. I'm running version 9.2.6, so I'm a little bit behind. I don't know if I'm going to buy version 11. They've been, they had Black Friday sales and other sales. They have Pyware Day every year where they give you a discount as well. But for my purposes, I'm not really writing as much as I used to, so I don't see that I would need to. But if you're a first-time buyer, definitely go with the newest version. You get updates through that whole series. So once they change the version, though, you generally have to upgrade to that version. So they went from a 9 pretty much to 11. I don't remember anything in 10, but I could be wrong. But that's where you get that. So I'm going to go ahead and open up my version of Pyware. Pyware is there's a lot to Pyware. There's lots of tutorials, lots of videos on how to use Pyware out there. This is really a basics of how to get you started, how to get going. I'm going to try to cover as many of the tools as I can, but I'm not going to get everything. There are some references that you can use. There's an online user guide. They have a Pyware 3D user guide, so 2 different ones. Lots of resources. They have very good support. They have a good Facebook page where they'll answer your questions pretty much in real time with experts. So really good support. I love Pyware. I've looked at some other ones. There are some other software options out there. I didn't really find them to be as robust as Pyware is. And there's so many things you can do with Pyware, and it's pretty darn easy to use. All right, so let's talk about how to set up your Pyware. So we have our Pyware here. We have a new session open, a new save version. So we need to save it. So I'm going to go ahead and do save as. Let's make sure I put it in the right place. So create a new folder. And this will be called drill for video. All right, what do we want to call this? Let's open this up, and we're going to say Malaguena drill. You can call it whatever you want. This is what it's going to include in that file. It's going to include all these. I don't recommend ever changing this. Just leave it because you're going to want all that data in there as you're saving it. You do also have a save type. I can only save as version 9 and below. But in version 11, I think you can save it in different versions from 11 down and below. Okay, once I click save, it's just going to save it. So the next thing I need to do is I need to open up my count sheet because I need to know the total number of counts I need to add to my timeline here, my count track. You can see there's only, right now, there's 299 counts. That's kind of the default when it opens up. So I'm going to add to that based on my counts. So let me open up my count sheet. So you can see my count sheet is open. The total counts I have are 420. So that's the number of counts I need to have on my count track here so that I can make sure that when I import these in, it has a place for it to go. I'm going to go up to Utilities and go to Count Editor. Add or remove counts in drill. So this is going to allow me now, I can either add or remove counts. So if maybe I put in too many counts, I need to remove them. You can remove them in between certain places. So let's say, for example, I have extra counts in a page tab and I don't want to mess with fixing it. I can just remove it. You can just say after count 220 or whatever it is, and it'll remove that number of counts. That will affect the tracking of your audio. So you got to be really careful on that. But I'm going to insert at the end of the file, and I have 299. I need 420. So I need to add 121 counts at the end of the file. And if you look down here, I have 420, which is the amount I need. Okay. So I need to now go ahead and import that file. So let me make sure I close it out. So I'm going to go over here, and if you just hover, it brings up your production sheet. So this is where you're going to see all of your counts, all of your notes. And remember earlier we saw this information up here on our tempo, measures, counts, all that fun stuff. We're going to go down here and click on import and click on our final Malaguena import counts. And that's going to bring that all in. Let me move this out of the way. Oops. And you can see we have all of our information. We have our counts. It tells us what our transition is. So this is like there's 36 counts in this move, 24 counts, 24 counts. So it automatically tells us what the counts are here and then what the Pyware number is here. Also our measure numbers and our titles. So if we wanted to clean this up now, we could, because earlier I put on the notes what the information was here, but I could put it in the title. So I can double click on that because it doesn't show me everything. Click OK. And then I can put it over here in the title section. And then it'll say easy Latin, 3-4 bars. Or I can put drum break here. So you can type in here just by double clicking. Oops, drum break, almost said drum corps. This I'm going to leave here because this is more about what is going on within that 16 count move. It's not really a title. So going forward, I'll know better to just put stuff in the title field there so I don't have to redo it all over again. All right, but once I'm done, I don't need to hit save or anything like that. I can just click away from it. And then if I move my mouse and I can go back and hover over it again, you can then see it. There is also a way to pin this and unpin it. So right now it's unpinned. It's just floating around. I don't recommend that. I like to have it pinned because then it's just over on the left-hand side. I don't have to worry about it. It's just there. And then if I need it, I can hover and then I can see all my information. Hopefully that's helpful for you. Okay, so we've added our counts, and you can see on our timeline, we only have 19 pages. So we need to do a quick cleanup here. So see how it says page 1. And on my previous video, I stated I don't like having this as page 1. Some people do. I think it's page 0 because we haven't stepped off yet. So I need to update the set numbers. So I'm going to click up here. And I'm just going to change that to 0 and then hit the tab key, and then it auto changes the number of sets. So I did say 20, it's only 18 sets. So I don't know what I was thinking, but now if we look, it should be the right number of sets, and they should match what we wanted. So the first one, 36 counts. Remember our previous video was 36 counts. So we kind of understand that these should be set up properly to that. Now, I could have made mistakes. I could have made errors. So once we get the music in here and we sync it, then we'll kind of go, oh, geez, that's supposed to be 4 counts less, or that's supposed to be 4 counts more. But we will be able to fix all that stuff. So let's go ahead and make sure we save this so we know exactly where we are. Okay, so next we're going to be looking at the music. We need to take our music, our MP3, and we're going to need to convert that in order to import it in. But before we do that, we're actually going to add some click tracks to the music to help us get started in timing when we're clicking. And then we need to also add it at any time changes that we have. And we have several. We have about 3 or 4 throughout this song. So I want to make sure that I know where they are. And I'm going to add these click tracks to kind of help us out. And then we're going to synchronize music to the page tabs, verify that they match and all that fun stuff. So let's go ahead and get to it. So the first thing you need is a program to do it. So there's a free program called Audacity. I highly recommend just downloading it. It's loading on the other page, of course. That's the way it always does it. Audacity is probably one of the easiest tools to use. It's also one of the most effective tools. So it's free and you can download it and use it. So, okay, so we have Audacity open. I will put a link in the description of where you can get it, of course. But I wanted to open up the Malaguena file. So once again, this is copyrighted. This is for educational purposes only. So please only use this if you're authorized to do so, or you're creating an educational video like I am right now. All right, so let's go ahead and open it up. I'm gonna go to open. A lot of videos in here, as you guys can see, a lot of stuff. And here is our MP3 file. So we need to take this MP3 file and we need to convert it eventually to get it into Pyware because it uses a specific format. But let's go ahead and take a look at the score. All right, so let's go ahead and listen to the score one time. Okay, so we know it's 84 beats per minute, so we need to have a click track. So we need to have a click track before the music even starts, so that way we know when to start clicking. So I always like to have a click, 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 and sometimes what I'll do is actually, if it's like a really complicated section, I've had some music that's super complicated, super hard to find the beat, and I'll just put a click track for like about 8 to 10 measures, even once the song is going, just so I can click it. But what we can do after the fact, though, is you switch it with this version, so that way we're not having the click going on our video. So you can leave it on the first 4 clicks, so that way the audience knows when they're watching it, or the marchers know when they're watching it, when it's going to start. But I usually remove it. To expand the track here, I'm going to hold down the Control key on the keyboard and use my scroll wheel and go up, and it expands it. You can also do the plus and minus here as well. But I do want it a little bit more expanded so I can see the space, because we have a whole space here of nothing. And then it goes into the music. So we know right here, that's count 1 right on the first hit. So I have 4 beats before. So what I need to do is I need to go to tracks, add new. We're going to add a stereo track. And then we need to add a click. So I'm going to move it to the end here. And I just use the arrow key. We're going to do generate, and then down to rhythm track. And this is where we're going to specify the beats per minute, which is 84. How many beats per bar? There's 4 beats per the bar. And the number of total bars we want. So we're going to do 2, just so we can make sure it lines up. And I'm going to use it to help me click the first 4 counts of the section, so I make sure that I get it correct. We're going to do generate, and let's see what it sounds like. Let's hear what it sounds like. Okay, so you can see it's not quite lined up. So I'm either going to have to add a count to the previous file, or I'm going to have to maneuver it around. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go in here and get rid of this part here, because it's only 3 counts technically of silence. So what I can do, let me get rid of this track real quick. I'm going to start it right on 1, 2, 3, and 1. So that's right where it should be. Hold on, let me just get in there a little bit deeper. Okay, so we're going to be a little bit off. So, oops. All right, I want to get it precise. That's pretty darn close. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa! What happened here? Okay. Oh, I hit the wrong button. That's what happened there. Okay, so I'm going to delete it, and I'm actually going to save this. So let's go ahead and do save project as, and then we'll just go ahead and save it as an Audacity project. right? And the reason why you want to save it as an Audacity project is because if we need to go back and remove the click track and resave it, we can do that. But this would save it so that as we're working on it, we're making changes. Just like we're going to do in Pyware, we can save versions and stuff like that. So now, okay. So now this is where it's going to get a little bit more tricky. Now what you can do is you can actually move this. So one of the cool updates to Audacity in the last year or two is that you can actually move this where you want it to go. So we're going to add our track back. So we're going to go to Tracks, Add New, Stereo Track. We're going to add the click track back in. So we should just be able to go to Generate, Rhythm Track, and everything should be programmed in. And we're just going to do Generate. So now what we're going to do is we can line this up. So let me click on that spot right there. Slide it over here. And if you already know how to do this, you can skip this part. This is really just for those that are learning. Okay, so you can see it's not quite lined up. So I can line it up the best I can. Oh, my hand is not doing so hot. There we go. Now, let's see what happens when we play. Okay, so that's the way you can add a click track. We could actually add some more if we wanted to, just to kind of keep it going. Especially if you're new to the rhythm and getting the rhythms locked into Pyware. Sometimes I'll just go the whole score and go, we have 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 36 counts, 9 bars of that. We can actually just program that in of 9 bars. And then we're going to switch to our Latin at 120 on measure 10. So we can actually program that in and add those. You can do it however you wish. I'm going to do it this way just for this because I think it makes more sense. And then we just keep going, and I'll show you guys how this when we tap. But we're going to find the next tempo change. Almost there. Okay, so it ends right here. All right, and I've already marked it. So we're going to move our timeline over here. We're going to click right here on this track, Generate. We're going to do the same thing, Rhythm Track. And we can do it 4 counts before and 4 counts after. So let's do that. Let's just do it. We'll do the same thing. It's 120 beats. And we can just move it on over. And let's make sure it's lined up. Oops. So it should be right about here. And you can see by the sound wave, that's where the tempo is starting. So let's line this up a little bit better. It's still not lined up. Come on, move with me. Sometimes if you hold the Alt key, ALT key next to the space bar, it'll move it a little bit more seamlessly. So you can try that as well. All right, now let's try it from here. So I just realized you probably shouldn't do it before. So I'm going to actually move it to right at the beginning of that because we still have our 84 beats a minute going on right before that. And that might cause some confusion for me. But it's good sometimes to hear it because you know it's coming up. But then it might mess up my fingers. So let's try it here. Cool. So our next tempo change, so we had the 120 here, that's the one we just did, is not for quite a while. All right, so the next one is going to be, we have a slower 96 and then a driving 152. So we got that coming up here. So let's go ahead and listen in and make sure we... Okay, so it's over in this area. Let's play. Okay, so this is where we're going to need to put the 96, and I'm going to put both bars there so we make sure we click it. So even if you miss it and you still, you know, can slow down to it, it'll be okay. We also have a hold here. So the clicking's really not going to be super crucial. It's really the counts. So that's where we have a little bit of flexibility whenever you have a hold. So we have two 96s and then 152. So we need to put that right here. Once again, generate our rhythm track. 96. Whoops, 96. We're going to do 2 bars. And we can just generate that. And then right after this, we're just going to use the arrow key to get to there. We're going to generate our 152. And this is where it's going to continue on. So we're going to use two bars as well. Let's move it over. It's telling me there's not enough room. All right, so we'll just put it, whoops. All right, put it right after it. So rhythm track. 152, generate. Oh, there's plenty of room. Okay, it's being persnickety. Rhythm. Okay, what am I doing? Generate. There we go. All right. Okay, there we go. Now we lined it up. Let's see if it makes sense now. Okay, so I think in the recording, so this is where it gets a little bit tricky. Because in the recording, I think they slow it down more than the 96 beats per minute. Ba-da-da-da-dee-da-da. I don't know why it's slower on the recording, but it is. So we have a choice here to make. We can omit it and just know it's there, and then it won't click proper, and we're just going to have to click it to the sound of that. Or we leave it in and just know it's going to be off. So it's sometimes that happens. Like it's what's on the paper is not what the conductor did. So because the 152 does not line up. The 152 is about right here. Let's move it over a little bit. So it starts about right here. Where's the bump? We get a bump. We get a... Okay, so you can see the difference here, right? But this is where it starts, and there's space gap. I can move it over, but then that's not really accurate. You can see how it's off. So, what's our decision? So you can see there's like a gap, or like about an eighth of a count or half of a count. So I'm going to remove it just because it's not going to work. So this is going to be a tricky one. Okay, maybe not. Let's see here. Let's play from a little bit before. Okay. Yeah, they slow down below the 96 beats per minute. That lines up perfectly fine. It's really the 96 beats. So let's just remove it, and we'll just have to play it by ear as we get there. So we have the bum, ba-bum. That's on the third and fourth counts. Bum, ba-bum. So the bum, ba-bum, so we know that. So they're doing a retardando. They shouldn't be. But they are. Okay, so let's go ahead and move on. We need to move on with our lives. So the 152 lasts for quite a while. Quite a while. In fact, we're going to keep... Yeah, see, it just changes mood here, so we don't need to do anything. It's just a mood change. Same thing with the Latin section. Nothing really changes. We have a accelerando here, and that's going to be a little more tricky because we're going to have to just click it by sound, and then it goes to 160 at measure 87. So we got quite a few pages. So we're going to jump ahead. And maybe what we can do, because it's going from 152 to 160. So it's not a huge jump. It's not a huge... It's only 8 beats a minute. We're really not changing that dramatically. But let's go ahead and move forward to that part. See if we can find that. Okay, so let's go ahead and pause it right here. Let's put the marker here. So you can tell it doesn't really go that much quicker, so we can actually put a click track right before it. So let's try that. So it's right here. So this is where we're going to drop that click track. So we're going to drop the track here. It's 160, so it's only 8 beats a minute faster. Not a big deal. Not a huge thing. So we can leave it right on it, or we can put it before. Let's fix it so it's correct. Let's see if I can get it right on. So that's another way we could do it. We can actually add another, make it 3. If we really wanted to, make it 3 beats, so 1 before, 1 after. Let's see what it sounds like. Okay. I don't think that's bad. Let's add another bar to it though. So let's drop this right here, right where it's at. All right, let's go ahead and do another. We'll do 3. 3. Okay, let's see if that works. That works for me. That works for me. Okay, so where you have an accelerando that's not dramatic, that seems to work well. But there's sometimes where you have like 50 beats a minute, 70 beats per minute. That's a huge accelerando. This technique would not work. You can do other things. You can maybe do 1 beat at a time and break it up and say, okay, this 4 counts I think is going to transition 20 beats per count or 10 beats per count. And you can do 1 count of this, 1 count of that, 1 count of this. Or you can just listen to it a lot and know how it goes, and then there you go. So that's probably a good way to do it too. So let's go ahead and move forward on the drill here. Okay. Because I think it doesn't change until the very, very end, and it goes to no more changes. I thought it changed to 170 for some reason. Am I missing a tempo change anywhere? Nope, it's just 160. Okay, good. Yay. Okay. So now what we need to do, now that we have finished putting in our click tracks, I want to go ahead and now export it out. So we're going to export the audio. We're going to do it in what's called an OGG, Vorbis files. So that's what they seem to like, and they meaning Pyware, they seem to like that format the best. And we're going to do Malaguena. We're going to get rid of those special characters. Guena opener. All right. We can call it whatever we want. So let's go ahead and export it out. It's going to compress both tracks together. All right. So we're going to go ahead and open it up and just verify it has our click tracks and everything else on it. So it's saved in here. I want to go ahead and open it up. The first one's a little faint, but it'll work for what we need to do. All right, so we're gonna see if the other ones are there. Perfect. But this will work. Okay, well that's it for this episode. Please stay tuned to the next episode coming up, the next part, where we talk about how to synchronize into Pyware, and then we look at how to add our props. So thank you guys so very much. If you have not subscribed, please consider doing so. Then you get notified when we have the next part of the series. And you can also go back and watch all the 100 other videos that I do have on my channel. They're all different playlists, different types of entertainment for you, so hopefully you guys will enjoy that. So thank you so much. I'll see you guys in the next one. Until then, march on.